Hey, ciao, my friends. Day number 23 of my self-quarantine here in Serbia. And there's no backing out now, my friends. The last evacuation flight from Serbia to the United States of America left this morning at 7 o'clock, 11 hours ago. So there's no turning back for me now. I'm stuck here. So my life is in the hands of the Serbian government. That's kind of scary, huh? Anyway, watch this short video the U.S. Embassy put together.
As a new citizen of the United States, I really appreciate what you're doing.
Hey, we're proud to help, and we're grateful to the government of Serbia, who's done great service to the United States. We're good friends. Safe travels home.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, I
God bless.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ambassador Anthony Godfrey. Here in the U.S. Embassy, we have no greater duty than to look after the welfare of American citizens. And I'm very proud of the team here because today, this morning, thanks to the work of my team and the generosity of the government of Serbia, we have been able to send home almost 200 people. Thanks, everybody. Great job.
Thank you, folks. Come on along.
All right.
Hey, ciao, my friends. How you doing? Charles here. Day number 23. I've got a knife. I'm going nuts. I saw it was an article in Yahoo. I don't know why I'm laughing about it. There was a young man killed himself in England because he couldn't stand the isolation. I'm getting close, I think. I shouldn't have a knife in my hand, but I have a knife in my hand because it's important because I got a really awesome delivery today. This is why you can't beat Serbians. Serbians care about you. Serbians want to make sure you're okay in times like this. I've had so many people reach out to me and say, do you need anything? Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you need somebody to go get your groceries? I mean, everything you could imagine. Just such nice folks out there. But today, I was sitting here watching a movie, being very unproductive on day number 23 here of my self-quarantine. And then I got a phone call. It was a random number I don't usually pick up, but I picked it up, and it was the postal service here. He said, blah, blah, blah. And I said, check, I'm molim vas. I said, he said, I'm out front of your door. So I said, okay, može jeden minuta. And so I ran down there, and he handed me this box, and I was like, oh my God, how cool is this? Perun, this is a rakia, a company here, a distillery in Inđija, Serbia. That's halfway between Novi Sad and Belgrade, about 20 minutes from here. A nice little town, really enjoy it. In the town of Inđija, cool fact before I get into my gift, in the town of Inđija, it's got the coolest little buffet. A buffet is like just your little hole-in-the-wall pub, usually for old alcoholics. It's right by the bus station. It's called the, what is it? The F-117 bar. And it's got pictures of the blown-up American invisible plane, the stealth bomber that bombed Serbia they shot down. I thought that's really typical Serbians. He's got pictures of this blown-up stealth bomber, and it's called the F-117 buffet. Always wanted to go in there, but I was always kind of nervous to take some videos, and I find out, where are you from? I have to say Kanajanin. Anyway, this is what I got from Perun. It says on the bottom here, Rakia koja zadovoljava sva vaša čula, which means, which rakia, which satisfies all of your senses. Okay? Let's see what they got us. This is so cool. How this company heard about me here in India. One of their distributors in the United States of America. This is sold in the United States. One of their distributors in the USA said, they messaged the company owner, Kako says over, Petar Kontic, Gospodine, hvala vam puno. Very kind of you. But they messaged him, he messaged me and said, hey, I want to send you something. This is what I got, and how cool is this? People are going to get the wrong impression and think I'm an alcoholic. I'm just a lover of all the good things in life. I'm a hedonist, okay? I'm not an alcoholic. I got this awesome little tasting kit, and this has a bottle of Kaisia, Shliva, and Dunya. So it's got apricot, plum, and Dunya, which is phenomenal. Dunya's a quince, okay? Beautiful. Love the packaging and everything. There's one little box. Oh, bullshit. I got another little box. Tasty. Man, I hope this quarantine lasts longer. This is a honey liqueur that's probably Medovacha. Gin. They actually make gin also. My favorite by far out of all the... I like whiskey, but I much prefer gin if I'm going to drink anything. And then Nocino liqueur. It's really, really dark. So that might be... I don't know what Nocino... I don't think that's a Serbian word. It's really dark liquor. It probably... kako se kaže that walnut rakija? Lešnik, no. Kako se kaže walnut na srpskom? Lešnik is a... no. I can't remember. That's what it looks like. I don't know. I'll try it one of these days. Oh my God, guys. My favorite company. A Viljamoka, that's a pear. I was talking about it the other day. Another quince and another Shliva in this. Man, this is a cool gift from my dad. One of these. I'm going to drink the rest of it. And then... Perun, bottle of vodka. Oh my God, great. Product of Serbia. That is so awesome. To learn more about Perun products, go to perundistillery.com. Love the, look at that little, the face on there. Man, I'm stocked up here, man. A bottle of Shliva. I love that. It's even puffed out. Man, that's a fancy looking bottle. Last but not least, Dunya. Oh, God, man. Perun Distillery, you have just made this American's self-quarantine just a little bit more bearable. Hvala vam puno. Seriously, that's very, very kind of you. For the gentleman in the USA, the Serbian who watched my videos, and for the owner, and for the company Perun Distillery in India, thank you very much. You Serbians are damn good people. And this is really going to make my days a little bit brighter. I'm not going to sample it today. I'm on a regiment where I drink a couple days and then I don't drink for a couple days. Believe me. Anyway, God, I love these people in this country. Not just because I get things, but that helps. Anyway, it's official. You saw, I said it's official yesterday, but it's 100% official now because the flight, the last evacuation flight from here to Washington left this morning at 7 o'clock. As you saw in the video, the ambassador was there to greet the customers, had great things to say about the Serbian government and their assistance in Air Serbia in doing this. A total of 200 and some Americans have been evacuated from this country. There still are a few here. You're going to hear from a couple more. You're going to hear from one more right now. She didn't make a video, but I'm going to read her little statement that she has to say. And then there's another gentleman making a video, and I've got some other ones that are going to be making videos also. So there's quite a few folks still here that chose to ride this out. So if you're a Serbian, what I would like to hear from, some of you Serbians that are stuck around the world, I would like a short video from you. I would like to hear your... what's going on with you? I've got some that have messaged me really sad situations. One girl's stuck in Vukovar without her family here in Serbia. Another gentleman from Vienna, his wife and daughter or newborn baby are stuck here. So there's all these situations all around. So I'd like to hear from you. If you want to make a video, my God, please do, and I'll publish it in here. Or any other foreigner that's stuck around Serbia, I'd be thrilled to show it. Anyway, let's get to this here. Before I read that young lady's message, USA, the numbers for today. Well, we'll start with Serbia because Serbia is first. Serbia 2666 or 2,666, up 219 from yesterday, and with 65 deceased. God rest their soul. So the numbers are every day, it's 100 and 200. But they said, here in a minute you'll find out, they think our peak is coming soon. USA 406,000, up 6,300, 13,800 deceased. God rest their souls. New York's still a mess. One of my friends, my Serbian friends, is in New York, and he said, and I read the article, that they're thinking about burying some of these bodies temporarily in the parks. I mean, wow. You know, sad, sad, sad. The key news here in this country, the curfew. This is bad news. I mean, well, maybe it's good news. It's bad news. It's bad news if you're just somebody who just doesn't like to have that thought of being stuck in your house and not being able to leave, unless you have a dog. From Friday at 5 p.m. to Monday morning at 5 a.m., no leaving the house. On Friday morning from 4 to 7, pensioners are allowed to go to the shop and get whatever they need for the weekend. But then Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, nobody's leaving the house except from 11 to 1 in the morning. If you have a dog, you can walk it. So, man, it's getting serious. And Vučić also, in reading a little bit that Vučić had to say, he said a lot of people were throwing a fit about his curfew. He said he doesn't really care if people complain about it because his sole priority is to save lives. According to him, he said he'd rather be have people angry than have people die. Also, he mentioned that there's the possibility of lifting this state of emergency could happen sometime this month. So hopefully close to the end of the month, he'll open this country once again. Once the country's open, I can still get out and get back to the USA in a timely manner. I want to be back in the USA. I said by May 1st, but the middle of May is sufficient for me. So that's good news. Once he opens the state of emergency, I'll be able to get out of this country. Not that I'm in a big rush. But I'm here now. I have no choice but to stay here. So Aleksandar Vučić, my life is in your hands, gospodine. He also said that this possibility of a 24-hour curfews, he stated in there that he doesn't have to give 48 hours notice on that, and he will do that if he thinks that will save lives also. But hopefully he don't. Hopefully he doesn't have to. But we'll see. There's also in the news, there's a lot of confusion and anger over all these Serbians who came back into the country were supposed to self-isolate, mandatory isolation, but there's so much confusion. It says here, police have charged 600 people with not following through on that isolation order, and they've sent all 600 to different detention facilities across the country. But then it says underneath that 120 are currently in detention. So I guess the police have filed charges against 600 people. 120 are currently in detention centers all throughout Serbia. There's 3 of them where they must go. But there's a lot of confusion with that. A lot of those people, those diaspora who came back in, those 320,000 people, they said there was so much confusion with it. Some of them just got a letter handed to them when they got to the airport, and it said in that letter, reduce contact with people in your home, with people at work and public for 14 days. But it didn't really state, according to them, that it was obligatory isolation. But then the Serbian police came knocking on doors, calling people, and they found out that they weren't there, and a lot of them got charged for this, and they're going to have to go to court. But on the 14th, that's when that flyer was given out to those returning people and foreigners. That's when they closed the country, I believe. Then 24 hours later, it went from a 14-day mandatory on the 14th of March. 24 hours later, it was extended to 28-day mandatory curfew or isolation from these people. And some of them said they were confused, they really weren't informed, etc. So those are serious fines too. I mean, there's a lot of big penalty on that. I think it's 1,500 euros, wasn't it? So that's what's going on with that. Dr. Predrag Khan, he gave a little update. He said 112 Serbians are currently on respirators here in this country. And he had a quote here. He said, data shows we are reaching the peak of epidemic and that we are reaching the peak of the epidemic and that we are at that maximum. The peak can take 2 weeks. Once it hits the peak, it can take 2 weeks, and then it should start to fall. So here by the end of April, things should be falling, hopefully. We can get back to our normal lives. But he said also, even though that's the case, there's no talk of repealing the measures that are currently in place. He said he advocates total ban on contact. And his quote was, "I'm in favor of a total ban on contact. That would mean you can't see two people together in the street. My idea is more serious than the ban on movement that's currently in place." So he's been pushing for total no contact orders. Also, Easter, they asked the president of Serbia, Ann Khan, about Easter celebration that's coming up. There's also a Jewish holiday here. What is that, Passover? About being with family, close family, and they said, no, that can't happen. It needs to be kept like it is. So it'll be a sad Easter for everybody here. Young lady, let me read this. Oh, let me tell you what my mother said about my flight back. I told my mother that I was going to not return to the United States this morning at 7 o'clock. And a part of her email, when she wrote back, she said, "I think you are being very smart staying in Serbia for now. It's a mess over here. Over 10,000 people have died. Beth and Joe went to Sam's in Terre Haute, got a bunch of groceries. Toilet paper and eggs are almost impossible to find. Luckily, we always bought cases of toilet paper from Amazon. So unless we get major diarrhea, we're good," etc. So she thinks it was a smart move that I didn't return. Mom is turning into Serbina. Anyway, what else do we have here? Anything else worth mentioning? I don't think so. This American girl here, let's listen to her story. Her name is Rebecca. And I'll just read what Rebecca had to say here. If I can find it. Okay, here she is. Rebecca's an American. She's currently here in Novi Sad. Rebecca, come on, make me a video. She says, "Hi, Charles. I'm an American in Novi Sad, and I really love your quarantine videos. It's been awesome and helpful to see your daily updates." Well, thank you very much. "Since you were asking for others to share their stories, I thought I'd message you because my story of how I ended up here in quarantine is pretty crazy. I've been traveling in the Balkans for about 4 years. I've traveled all over Serbia and knew that someday I wanted to live here long term. Opa, svaka čast. I've been dying to move to Novi Sad for the past year, but couldn't find a suitable house for me and my 2 dogs. I was living in Albania and searching online for houses for the 1,000th time and finally found the perfect little house to rent in Novi Sad. I was so excited. On March 4th, I left Albania with my dogs in a suitcase, thinking that I could return to Albania the next week and get the rest of my belongings. But then Albania closed all of their borders and implemented a strict quarantine curfew. Shortly after, Serbia did the same. My new house in Novi Sad is great, but I have been living out of a suitcase all this time, and my house has very little furniture and no kitchen. I have an inflatable mattress, 1 table, 1 chair, 1 plate, 1 cup, etc. I'm trying to order things online, but the stores are backlogged and it takes a long time to get things delivered. However, I have to admit, it feels kind of exciting, like camping. I really hope that everyone out there is grateful for what they have, even in these crazy times. I'm extremely grateful to be in Serbia because it feels much safer than Arizona, where I'm originally from, where many of my family members are currently working under-equipped in the hospitals. I don't know how reliable the Serbian media is, but I feel that things are moving in a better direction here and that we'll return to normalcy before many other countries do. Thanks again for all that you do, and I hope you're having a great day here in Novi Sad." What a beautiful story, Rebecca Sodari. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, as I said before, I think the government here, love them or dislike them, in this time, I think they're doing a good job. You've heard other folks say that. I'm not a member of this political organization, nor do I support them. But I mean, when you look at what other countries are suffering through and going through, I mean, they're doing something, and it's being recognized by a lot of us who are not from here. And that's a similar situation, what you've heard from a lot of Americans here. They're more trusting in the way things are operating here than it is over there. What does that tell you? Anyway, my friends, that does it for day number 23. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to see me without my hair. I can't live like this anymore, my friends. I'm a guy who cuts it once a week. I'm going nuts. I feel old when I see this gray popping through. So tomorrow, haircut, you'll see it right here. Ciao, ciao.